3, 2, 1. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Welcome to 321 Liftoff. My name is Wayne Belden, and I'm the president of Belden Communications, publisher of the Space Coast Fun Guide and SpaceCoastFunGuide.com. And we'll be bringing you 321 Liftoff every week, talking about tourism in Florida's fabulous Space Coast. With me are your hosts, Pete Lynch, known as Promo Pete, the Director of Business Development for the Space Coast Fun Guide and SpaceCoastFunGuide.com, and Bonnie King, former Deputy Director of the Space Coast Office of Tourism, as well as past President of the Florida Film Commission. Pete, Bonnie, we are thrilled to have you both as co-hosts of 321 Liftoff.
Woo-woo!
Hey, happy Friday.
Yeah, it's good.
Here we go.
I
It is
love it.
another beautiful day here in Cocoa Beach on the Florida Space Coast. And on today's 321 Liftoff podcast, we are going to introduce you to one of our local celebrities here on the Space Coast. That's Ashley Nolan, who was a contestant on season 35 of the popular TV show Survivor and is the owner of Ohana Surf School, which is going to be a lot of fun to learn about that. I have some personal family. She taught some surf lessons to my daughter, so I can't wait to get to talk about that. But
I want to see you on a surfboard.
Well, we're going to try it one day. One day. The older you get, the more
Defy
you want to try,
gravity, right?
Exactly.
Let's do it.
Right, there you go. So 321 Liftoff is brought to you in part by Beachside Hotel and Suites here in Cocoa Beach. And we are all gathered here today at the Pool Hotel around the Duck Dive Bar and Grill, overlooking the beautiful lazy river that they have that flows the length of the Beachside Hotel and Suites. And Michelle Martindale, their sales director for this beautiful property, will join us and give us an update on all the events and the deals that they're running. But first, let me introduce my co-host, Bonnie King.
Hey, how's everybody? The Space Coast, is home to numerous celebrities, so I think that it's great that we can use our 321 Liftoff as a platform to introduce our own hometown hero. And Ashley is also part of our tourism family because, she does teach surfing at the Ohana Surf School, and she's a former Cocoa Beach lifeguard. I read an interview where she said, and I look at her and I go, where you said, I can be a well-spoken lady who can charm your socks off and still kick butt. So I think that we're in for a very interesting conversation with a lady who knows what she wants and where she's going. And joining us today is another guy that I think likes to go kicking some butt.
I kick butt all day.
And that's John Belden, Vice President of Belden Communications.
Good morning, everybody. I know I haven't been here the past couple of weeks, but I've been listening to you guys on the podcast. You sound fantastic, as always. I've been reading some of the comments. I know our listeners are going to love this conversation. And I, too, have watched you on the Survivor. I've watched some of the clips. And, yeah, very, very intriguing reading what you write. And you've got that go-getter attitude. So this is going to be a lot of fun today. I'm excited.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So let's start it off. Let's welcome Ashley Nolan. How you doing?
You guys.
Good morning.
Thank you. That was quite the introduction.
I
did
know.
your research.
Absolutely.
Funny to hear some of the things.
Read some of your interviews.
Oh, crap. Did I say that?
Yeah, right.
I liked that one saying, though. I thought that really showed what kind of a person you are, that you just, you know what you want, you know where you're going, and which is what we're here to talk about.
And it's inspirational because, just jumping right in here, I was watching just recently one of the clips where you were talking when you came back home and how you feel it's important that, as a woman, look, don't look at me like I can't do something because I'm a woman. And I have a daughter. You've got a daughter.
We do.
That's very important, very inspirational. I tell my daughter, you can do anything you want to do.
Yeah.
There's no limits. There's none of this, I'm a girl. That stuff went out years ago. And I love the fact that you represent that. So that's awesome.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I think that's super old school way of thinking. And,
Absolutely.
And it's been a long time coming for sure, but it was fun to be on that show as also when I got onto the show, I was working as a lifeguard with predominantly men. So I think that's where a lot of that attitude came from going into the show.
Yeah.
And in a workplace where, it's really no longer very segregated whatsoever. Things have changed a lot. So
Right.
fun
So
to
let's
talk
hear about how did you hear about it? How did you know to audition? How did you do it?
Well, I heard about the show 20 years ago when it first
Right.
started airing, and I was a huge fan. I was probably 12 years old when it started airing. I would watch it with my dad every week, and that was our show. Diehard fans. And then so time went on, and it was always, when are you going to be on the show? Ashley, you got to apply, you got to apply. And that was back when you had to make a videotape and send it in, and I just never found the time to do that. And then Victory Casino Cruises put on, the open casting call.
And that's when Pete worked there, so he
when
was
Pete
part
was
of that.
working there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm actually really excited to hear this part of the story because I've known Ashley for a while now, and we've actually never talked about the audition process. But we planned the auditions. We got with CBS. They came out. They set their TV cameras up. You had 1 minute basically to give your speech, and it was kind of just like go. And I guess
So you didn't have to do a video. You did it in person.
I did afterwards, actually.
Oh, okay.
So a friend of mine went, and we're like, this is right down the street. This is awesome. We actually had to go to work and train incoming lifeguards that day. So I was all hyped up on lifeguarding, and
Right.
I had no idea what the theme was or what they really want from you. You just have to talk. So I talked. In my 1 minute, I probably just rambled, like I'm doing now, and just about lifeguarding and whatever I could think of to make myself sound cool.
It's crazy when you think about it too, right? Because you're like, okay, I got a minute, and there's like hundreds of other people that are in line.
Yeah.
What do I say to stand out? Obviously, you said something that made him go, "That's it," But
I couldn't tell you what that one thing. Well, actually, maybe I can't tell you what that one.
tell
thing
them you're
is,
going to kick their butt.
Well, in hindsight, if you've watched the season, you know that it turned out to be the theme. That usually there's like a theme of a concept, and this one was heroes versus healers versus hustlers. And it had turned out, and I found out later on, that they were looking specifically for a female to fit the heroes tribe, and they had been looking kind of specifically for a lifeguard. So
Wow.
that's
Oh,
kind of
wow,
all
that-
they needed to hear.
It was a
I guess,
sign.
to
Yeah.
fill this role. Yeah. So when people ask about advice going into those things, I always say, I'm like, just say whatever makes you the most you, because one day that could be exactly what they're looking for.
That's it.
So don't change
It's fate.
something
I believe in fate.
that you think they might want, because one day, whatever it is you are will probably, if you're going to get on the show, it's going to be because they're looking for that.
So from the time that you auditioned with that, when did they say, hey, you're in the running, or you've got it?
So it wasn't until 9 months later.
Oh, my
I
God.
was sitting on my lifeguard to stand.
How do you keep a survivor in suspense, Pete?
Yeah, well,
I
hey.
mean, you just
Wow.
walk out and they're like, "Thanks for coming."
That's it.
You don't
Yeah,
hear
that's it.
anything.
They
No
take
one-
your
no
picture.
one tells you good job.
You could have had a baby
I
by
know.
then. That's like,
Things could have
wow.
changed a lot, right?
Right.
But it was like 9 months later they called, and I thought it was a prank or something, because all the lifeguards, a few of us tried out, and so I thought somebody was like messing with me. And this is so and so from CBS. We want to talk to you about, your audition with Survivor. I'm like, what? 9 months ago.
He said, wow, that was 9
And they're-
months ago.
But all this 9 months later, they're like, yeah, if you're actually really serious about wanting to be on the show, we want you to come out to LA in like 2 weeks.
Wow.
And we just hit the ground running.
Now,
started
did they pay
casting
your
for
way
me.
out there?
Yes.
Yeah,
they
okay,
paid for
good.
everything.
Awesome.
I actually just got a reminder on my Facebook. You know how they like to remind you of things?
yeah. Every day.
Just like a couple days ago, that it was 4 years ago today, or that day, that I was in a hotel room in LA.
How cool is that?
Trying
And
out.
what,
You're like,
ho-
my life's
what,
gonna change.
what
That's kinda
hotel
what
did
the
they put you
caption
in? I'm
was. I didn't know at
curious.
that time.
What
It was
hotel
like-
they put you in?
Oh, I don't remember.
You don't
that
remember?
detail,
Okay.
no.
Motel 6.
No, it's funny because they keep
Nah.
you just locked in your one room.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to go out because there's all these
really?
other potential contestants. So they don't want you making relationships with anyone.
Because of the game.
Or anyone seeing you, too, because there's all these super fans that stalk these production
Wow.
scenarios, or that try to, find out things about you before they know that you're even on the show. Or
Like
they
The
don't
Mask.
Yeah, so you're kind of just locked in your room, and
Wow.
they bring you out and have interviews and send you back into your room.
So now, I know we're probably going to jump around, so my apologies.
okay.
But so as years go on, are there things that you're going to be tied back into, you think, that you could go back on there as like a reunion type
I
thing?
don't know. That's all up to CBS and Jeff Probst.
That's awesome.
Jeff Probst.
Speaking
Hey,
of
Jeff Probst.
speaking
Yeah.
of
Hey,
Jeff,
Jeff Probst called me.
yeah. Speaking of Jeff,
Ashley wants to go back.
yeah. But
If they keep having seasons, I really hope. They had season 40, and then
can
due to
you
COVID-
believe
COVID,
it? Season 40, and
Wow.
Jeff is still on.
Yeah, he
He's
looks
a good
better
guy,
than
though. He
ever.
looks great, doesn't he? So let's get a little inside scoop on him. Anything
He's
about him that we need to
Calm
know?
down, Bonnie.
No, I mean, a little gossip, a little
I mean, is
inside
he-
Curious minds
information.
need to know.
Yeah,
Gossip. I don't know. I wish I could think of a thing to say about that guy that wasn't just exactly what you'd expect. He's
Well, not only about-
adorable. No, nothing
yeah.
bad. But
I know, I
No,
know.
he's adorable. He's such a pro, and obviously he's been doing this for 40 seasons. So there's no
Right.
situation that he's not familiar with. But there's no take twos with him. There's no cut. Let me try that again. Let me fix this. Let me fix this. He's just everything you see on the show.
Now,
as
when
he
you're in
says
that
it is how he
survivor,
says
when
it.
you're in that survivor mode and you're doing your thing, he's not around, is he? Or do you see him on the side somewhere? No.
never.
Okay.
There's always people around, but not Jeff, unless
Okay.
something really bad happens. He'll arrive if somebody has to go, medically evacuated or a family situation. But no, otherwise we don't see him until it's challenge or tribal council.
Speaking of
ready to go
challenges,
as soon as we get there.
you won one.
I won two.
Yeah, I was gonna say you won a couple.
I mean,
won
how
two.
cool was it to get the immunity? I've watched
my
Survivor
gosh.
too, for a long time,
got
and
immunity.
certainly when Ashley was on, we were very interested in watching the season.
Sure.
But, like, how cool was that to just have him come up and put that thing around your neck?
I can't even explain it. Yeah, just like my parents are gonna freak out. That's all you can think of the whole time. You're like, everyone at home is gonna be like, what? Because, when you're out there, you're just like, you're so far apart from your normal world. It's like you're just living in this crazy alternate reality that isn't really part of a society. It's like its own society.
Yeah.
And you've seen it on TV so many times, people winning immunity, and you also see on TV so many times all these challenges where you're like, I would do so good at that.
Right, I can totally do that.
You're like, what are they? Gosh, they're blowing it,
Right.
and you're yelling at your TV about like why they should be doing better.
It's easy
And
from
then
the
when
couch.
you're finally doing it, it's just a whole nother world. It's so crazy. But then to have Jeff put the necklace around, you're like, oh my gosh.
This is
I'm one of those people that win immunity challenges.
That's
on
awesome.
Survivor.
Then you get to something like that to take home. Like you're
No.
like, oh, that'd be totally
I
cool to
wish.
have that on my wall. Like I want that.
No, I think you can. I think they were auctioned off.
Really?
Somebody probably has it at home. Yeah.
So when you're doing all these challenges anyway, you've got cameras around. There's the crew. So what is that like? Because they're right there.
It's interesting to wake up in the morning with a camera right in your face.
Yeah,
That's
right.
the weirdest part. Yeah, and it's weird that you get used to that because of all the other stressors and challenges throughout the show. Like the first morning you wake up, you're like, this is gonna be a problem.
Yeah,
What's
my
this
personal
camera?
space, dude.
But then as time goes on, you're like, whatever. You don't even care about the cameras anymore.
Okay, and what about eating? I got to ask about eating.
What eating?
What eating?
No, really. I mean, you got a crew there, and you know that they have a table that's over there in the corner where they get to eat all that food. You're just told you're not allowed to go over to that table.
Well, there's definitely no table. They come in shifts. They're actually quite respectful to not eat in front of us.
Oh,
That's
okay.
good. I have
Yeah.
family members that don't do that, so
There
that's
was-
nice.
Usually they're not supposed to talk to us at all. There was
okay.
a crew member or two that would be, they understood what we were going through, and sometimes you
Yeah.
just needed a little bit of external communication. Like, can we have 5 minutes just to ask you a couple behind the scenes questions
before
just
it
to get it
cracked.
out, because you just
Right.
you're so curious too, because you're all of a sudden
You know that.
in it.
Do you guys ever watch that stuff on TV where you see somebody get hurt and there's a cameraman obviously because you're watching like why does somebody help that person and they're like oh sorry it's off limits and it just drives me crazy but
The things those cameramen have probably seen is
oh my gosh
insane. You're getting people at their worst.
right
Yeah.
Vulnerable states, and they're just doing all kinds of
I know
crazy
Pete's got a
things.
question. I could just tell he's
Well,
itching.
yeah.
You mentioned the eating. I was thinking sleeping, because you are just on a beach. I know that you build a shelter and everything, but are you able to sleep really at all? I mean, are you so
No.
exhausted from the day that you just
Sleep was
or-
rough.
Yeah.
Sleep was rough because you are really hungry. So you ever go to bed at night just skipping dinner, and you're like, oh,
yeah
I can't sleep.
I'm doing
a little
keto right now
hungry.
so a lot actually
Oh, okay. So you're starving.
yeah because the daily occurrance but I find a way now my wife I snore so my wife on the other hand she gets no sleep so she's like a survivor
Yeah. The sleep is tough because it's cold too. At night it gets really
Yep.
cold in Fiji. We're right on the corner of an island, so the wind's coming through.
I hear the
You're
water's
sleeping on
great, though.
bamboo. Yeah, they make great bottled water.
Did you
what
ever
I
get to
heard.
just sit back and enjoy the beauty of what it was, or you were just too busy surviving?
Oh, we had nothing but time to sit back
Yeah.
and enjoy the beauty
man.
of it.
Think about your
Because you
life.
think when you watch the show, you're watching only 45 minutes of a condensed week maybe, or a couple
Mm-hmm.
days that have gone by. So there's just, people don't think about the amount of downtime, and that's the time that really drives you nuts because
Yeah.
you just sit and think, and there's nothing to do. No
How many days were
distractions,
you
no
there?
food.
How many days were you?
36.
36 days. And how much weight did you lose?
Six-
22
was it-
pounds.
20. And you were skinny
22.
already. You couldn't afford to lose 22 pounds.
I mean, I didn't have a lot to lose. It was
Wow.
interesting.
She was. I saw the video when you first saw yourself in the mirror, like they had
Yeah.
your eyes covered, and wow, and that's got to be such a I should try that. Maybe that work for me. you know?
I'd love to be able to do that and go, yeah, hey,
Very
okay.
weird. I know the Survivor diet. It's effective, but it's not. It doesn't
Yeah.
last long.
Yeah.
How quickly did that 22 pounds come back? Like,
Oh, it
do you come
doubled
back
very
You come
quickly.
back and hamburger everything.
Oh my
Spaghetti
gosh.
and meatballs will
have
do it
no
if you eat
idea.
enough.
Yeah, that was my first meal that I wanted for some reason. That was my first order when they
good
got
eating.
voted off. They're like, "What do you want to eat?"
Hey, well, Michelle has joined us. Michelle Martindale with the Beachside Hotel and Suites, which we're here today. And you might even have a question for Ashley, because I know that you've watched Survivor and are aware of the TV show.
Yeah. Is there some place where we can do Survivor without all that bad stuff and, have it where it's nice and calm and all that weight?
Like
Cocoa
right
Beach
here on,
Survivor, right?
Right here on the sand, we could have some Survivor games or something like that.
That'd be fun.
That'd be kind of cool.
What everyone eats.
Yes.
I think that's called summer camp.
Or a
Survivor
day in
with food.
Italian family, maybe. So you guys are not connected to the outside world at all? Like they don't? Wow.
No, not at all. I asked one of the producers at one point if there were something huge, like a
Right.
9/11 was my example. If there was something like that that happened while we were out here, would you guys tell us? And they said no, except for if anyone were affected personally. And obviously,
Yeah.
something like that, there's a great chance that all of us would have a personal,
Sure.
Wow.
relationship. So they would tell you if it were like,
If it affects
Talk
it
about
affected
being
you
in a
personally,
Bubble,
so.
huh? You're in a bubble, like for sure.
yeah.
I just can't imagine not seeing yourself for a month either. No mirror or whatever.
Yeah.
To
You don't
see.
have a
Yeah.
phone or anything, huh? You can't like look on.
Can't
the
call
glass and-
home.
So weird. You try to find reflecting
Right.
puddles of water. I did that a couple times, but it's kind of like
Yeah.
putting one of those Instagram filters on. It doesn't really show what you look like.
So what you
'Cause then
gotta
when
do-
you see the mirror at the end, you're like, whoa. That's what
You
I
got to
look
pair with a buddy. Like, all right, how am I looking? Seriously, tell me.
Yeah, but then you got to trust these people that you don't
Right.
trust. You're like, come on, tell me if there's anything wrong.
Tell
I
me if
remember,
there's-
I remember someone being like, no, you look great. I'm like, what? And then I saw the show. I'm like, you liar! I don't look great at all.
Well, that's like when you're married. What am I gonna? Your wife does this make me look fat?
Yeah,
No, absolutely not.
exactly.
You can't tell me the obvious. No way. So.
Yeah, because what are you gonna do about it? If
Ah,
you don't
heck
look
no,
great?
I'm not going to the doghouse. You look great.
No, so Ashley, as you sit here at this beautiful hotel, and you were not in a beautiful hotel, so to speak, when you were there, we want to talk about the Beachside Hotel, and they're one of our main sponsors here, and we want to thank Michelle for being here. And can you tell us any updates, anything new? I know Super Bowl's coming up, so you're going to have
yeah.
a big time here at the
Yes,
Duck
we
Dive
are.
Bar and Grill.
And you can still come on this Sunday, too.
That's true.
We got a nice ticket playing there, Tampa Bay.
Weather is gorgeous, so get
Weather's
here.
gorgeous. Some updates is, the pool, the lazy river is heated, so I'm still
Nice.
until 11
buddy.
o'clock
Nice.
at
And this
night.
week the weather's supposed to be beautiful.
Yeah,
it's
it
it's
is.
going to be
It's
back in the
the
80s.
Yeah, we were a little bit crisp this past week, whatever. It
Was.
was like in the, in the low 70s, high 60s, and for us, that's
Yeah,
kind of
it was,
chilly.
It was kind of cold, but we got to wear our jackets, and our boots and all that good stuff.
What temperature do they heat the pool at?
It's an 80.
So see, right now we could jump in and get warmer.
Yeah, we
I'm
could.
down. Let's do it.
So to everybody up
After the
north
show.
that's watching the show
All right,
today,
all
know that
right.
it's going to be 80 degrees here next week. So
Well,
you
they're
need to get
laughing at
down
us
here.
now, and I'm saying, oh, it was like 70 or something. They're thinking, are you kidding? Do you know what we're going through?
36 in North Carolina.
So
Like,
it
I
was
know.
perfect.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of one of our features right now. Also, if you or follow us on Instagram or Facebook, we got a nice flash sale coming up. So it's, if you're fast and you book quickly, you can get like a 25% discount.
25%
Wow.
off right now.
Right now.
There's some very, very good rates on there.
See,
So
look,
you
she's getting her phone. She's doing it.
Yeah, I love the pictures that you have on your Instagram and stuff. They're really nice. Yeah.
They do. That's one thing we do have is really great portfolio of pictures. But also, if you go on our website and you check out Beach Cam, and that's a great Beach Cam.
Yeah.
One of my clients that's from Washington, D.C. goes, Michelle, is that yours? I go, yeah. Oh, wow. I think we might be able to use that. I'm going, okay.
I've used that before to check the waves here.
Yes.
Actually.
And
Nice.
you may even see some of those launches go up. That's where
Yeah.
the direction is
Oh.
pointed. But
Wow.
also right above it is another thing is if you stay too, you get a $20 gift card, gas card, So,
I know that doesn't get any
Nice.
better than that.
I
You're going
know, and we
to pay
just
me to
feel
come
great.
here.
Yeah, if you're in Orlando or whatever, that pays for your gas to
Yes.
get here,
Yep,
and you
right.
can save
Yep.
money on the
And the bikes
discount.
and the surfboards.
Oh, well,
you were
yeah, we
telling
do.
me
Yeah,
about.
we
You
do
guys
the
got-
bikes and the surfboards and the boogie boards and the beach carts and the chairs and the
I
umbrellas.
called you a few weeks back, and the reason why I called you is I had a gentleman that called me. He was listening to the podcast, and he was in New Jersey, and he was asking questions about the hotel, about
Right.
the hotel and suites. And so he had a question about the shuttle, which you guys do had, and I actually called you, and then I called the hotel just to confirm it's still
Right.
going and everything.
Right.
So yeah, and once I told him, I said, well, there's a shuttle from here because he's coming out here next November, and cruising's this November, cruising will be back to normal, and that's what everyone's shooting
Praise
for.
the Lord.
Yes, praise the Lord. So anyways, when I told him about it, they have the shuttle, they've got the beach caddy, they give you the bicycles. He goes, what else do I need? He goes, sold.
Great.
So,
Well, we'll
yeah.
have him as a guest.
Yes,
We'll
absolutely.
bring him on.
I have his number.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and speaking of cruises, we're very hopeful that they're going to start again. But we've been always been doing the park and cruise that you're talking about, where people can come and stay and park their cars for and get a round trip shuttle to the pier. And also we do what we call the Fly, Snooze, and Cruise, and we pick up at 3 airports.
Yep.
Orlando, Sanford, and Melbourne, and do round trip and get them to the port. And it's like one call does it all. You can even now book it on our website, which before you couldn't book it on our website.
Well, here
which
in
is
Cocoa
great.
Beach, you really don't need a car because you can grab a bike or you can, it's
Yeah.
a good
Right.
walking area too if you're from not around
Maybe-
here. So
yeah,
catch
that's
your
true.
little shuttle.
And
come
as
over
Michelle always says, I think you say you have like 13 restaurants that are right around
Yeah,
in walking distance.
from here. And,
Yeah.
Duck Dive Pool Bar is open on
Yes.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So we always are doing beverage and food specials.
And
but-
we can vouch for the drink
Yes,
specials.
we can. Yes, we can.
Now,
We came here and partook.
can I build a sandcastle right there? Like I can do that?
I don't know, can you?
Okay, that's all I need to hear. All right, perfect.
Are you going to do
See
a
your
mermaid
skills.
or? Let's
I
see
don't
what
know.
your
I got
skills
some
are.
pretty good skills here. We'll see what I come up
Well,
with.
we'll photograph them. We'll
And you all can grade me.
Yes,
It'll be
we'll
great.
grade-
It'll be a good
we'll-
podcast.
We'll ask all our guests
That's
to
it.
grade it. Like when you do pumpkins.
That's
It's the
it.
same way, pick your best.
All right,
boy.
Survivor Challenge right now.
That's it.
Right.
Let's go out.
So,
Yes.
building contest.
Absolutely, and then the loser has to eat something with worms in it or something. I don't know. We'll figure.
So, Michelle, what's your website and how can they get hold of you and speak to you personally?
I don't give out that.
555.
Yeah,
1, 2, 1, 2.
555.
Our website is Beachside Hotel, cocobeach.com, and our reservation number is 800-247-2221, or you can call us direct at 321-783-2221.
Great.
Yes.
Very
And
good.
again, our website, watch us, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, all those. We're there.
You got 'em
Facebook,
all.
yep.
And guys, for
good.
right now too, they are doing that very good special, 25% off. You just have to stay before Valentine's Day, right? I
Right,
think
right.
February 13th.
Right.
So you got a couple weeks to use that offer, and 25% off is a
Yep.
great
And
deal.
you get
for
to
here in Cocoa
choose
Beach.
according to your diet if you want your diet, your budget.
Diet. What is it?
I gotta lose.
I need a room furthest from Duck Dive Bar.
Your financial
But anyway,
budget.
we
We
Your
were just
financial
talking. You
diet.
can't
That's
eat
it.
anything. in
You come during the week, the duck dive isn't open, so you can lose weight.
There you go. That's funny.
But anyways, it'll meet your budget, whatever it is. It's a great special. Also, I wanted to talk about something really exciting
Ooh.
happening in Cocoa Beach. in
Yeah.
April,
Yeah.
the
What's
Cocoa
that?
Beach Air Show.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Wow.
Yes, it's April 17th and 18th.
Nice.
That's right.
And we are one of their partner hotels, and we are have performers going to be here. We're going to host
good.
the Geico Skytripper team.
Neat.
Nice.
That'll
So
be
there
fun.
more things going to be going on as soon as we find out. And
Good, and we'll be talking about that as it's coming up. So,
And where are they going to be flying?
They're flying from Laurie Wilson Park down to Coconuts.
Cool.
Coconut. Okay,
Neat.
great.
No, I'm sorry.
Pier.
No.
Jetties?
Shepherd Park.
Shepherd Park,
down
okay.
to Coconuts.
Very cool.
In the middle is Laurie Wilson Park, is the headquarters.
And do we know the dates yet?
Yes.
April 17th and 18th.
It's very.
that
It's
a
a
date?
very special dates for me. So.
And our good
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, her
our good
birthday's
friends-
April 17th.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
I'm the 22nd. We're coming up. We'll
Yeah,
celebrate
yeah.
together.
Because we should do it. Hopefully, we'll have a podcast that day. That'd be great.
Our friends
love
at Valiant Air Command are going to be
working with
taking.
them.
Yep, they're going to be taking part in that too. So they're going to be flying some of their planes over, which they have some amazing stuff. up there.
Great.
Awesome.
So that'll be a big part of the conversation. So anyway, but thank you, Michelle.
Yeah,
we
I'm
really
excited about
appreciate
that.
it.
My pleasure.
Yeah,
Always
absolutely.
fun having you here.
We love being here.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you for hosting us.
Definitely. So let's get back to Ashley.
We
Ashley.
talked about some great pictures. Hang on. So
Okay.
one thing. So really good pictures. Are you given any of the pictures from when you're over there? That didn't make TV? Because I'm sure there's some amazing.
Pictures?
Yeah.
Like photographs?
I know you
of-
don't have a camera or a phone to
Oh,
take
no.
selfies when you're over there, but
I
are you
wish.
given like a Dropbox folder or anything like that that has?
For each episode that aired, they would give us like 5 promo pictures. Not too much. But,
Did you get a promo picture of Jeff putting that around your neck?
You know what? I have a picture of that, but I think I went
I
through
know, I
every
like 'em.
episode and
I'm gonna get you a date.
screenshotted
Took a picture of the
moments
TV.
that I wanted.
Do you have Jeff's phone number?
Maybe.
Hair flip.
No, he's actually blocked me, so. It's,
Oh yeah, that's what it is. Creeper.
Stalker you stalker you.
You
Funny.
too?
So you that's another thing too. You're in this beautiful area. I mean, obviously in these conditions, okay, but still, you don't get time when it's all done to kind of explore. They're all right. You're out of here. Go home.
if you're voted out early enough, I hear you have a really good time.
Wink, wink.
Yeah. I
Oh,
think
they
the
don't
first-
immediately send you home?
No,
You,
Oh,
you
they go to
stay.
They keep you. Yeah, if
Oh.
you don't make the jury, so it gets down to I think we had like a 10-person jury, something like that. So if you are voted out before the jury, heard they went all over. They went to Australia. They
that's
They
awesome.
went diving, surfing.
Because they can't let you
Had a
come
fun
home
time. Yeah,
early,
so-
otherwise they'll know that you didn't make it to the
Oh,
end.
that's
Right.
right.
So
they kinda
Yeah.
got-
So you still don't get your phone back. You still don't get any
Right.
access to anything or anyone. So they
But
have to
game
keep you
on.
occupied, basically. Yeah. Yeah, but then once you make the jury, that you go to a place called Ponderosa, and you were saying you watch the Ponderosa videos, and that's where
You
right
had,
when you're
you
voted
had one
off,
of the
that's
most
where you go.
popular Ponderosa videos that
I
was ever out there.
know,
The views on
yeah.
that were like
saw that.
insane.
I loved what you were saying too. She's like, I voted all these people off, and she goes and she's walking in, she's worried, but they all were welcomed with open arms.
Yeah.
And they had you drink something on a very empty stomach. I saw.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh, what was it called? Kava.
Kava.
That was my first experience with kava, which is very popular in Fiji. And
How did it taste? Because I couldn't get a read when I watched the video.
like dirt water, but but it tastes pretty good when you've had nothing else.
Yeah, 'cause you-
It's like sure.
Now, Ashley,
Yeah.
when you were on, how many women versus men when you were on?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think it was about half and half.
Was it
I wanna
okay?
say-
Because there's
yeah,
about
actually, it was
18
half and
people,
half.
isn't it?
Yep. So there's 9
Okay.
females, 9 males.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. So we had 3 tribes, 3 of each on each tribe. Yeah.
Wow. Now, did you make friends with these people while you're surviving, or do you have to? You can't trust anybody. I mean, how?
No, I mean that's the whole thing about it being such a social experiment.
Yeah.
Because you need friends, you need to
Right.
have people that you depend on, even though you don't trust any of them
Can't.
at all. You
They could
have to
stab
let
you in the
yourself
back at
have,
any minute.
Like a false sense of trust. Like this person, I'm pretty sure is the closest thing to someone I can
Yeah.
trust. But no, I mean once it is all over, like you're saying, you go to Ponderosa after being voted off, and everyone there is someone you have voted off. But at that point, everyone's like, it's over.
Yeah,
That
we
experience. over.
did it.
We
We
can
had an
hash it out in
experience.
conversation
Yeah.
if we need to. Like, why'd you do that? Why'd you do that? My feelings are hurt. But I think
Come on, it
this
was a
day and
game.
age in the game, I think everyone knows that it's all part of the game, and we all went through that experience together, which kind of bonds you more than any
Yeah.
silly little things that happen. in it.
I give you a lot of credit too, because in one of your interviews you talked and you said, "Look, I'm upset, but I can't blame him. I would have done the same thing." When you're talking about when you got
Yeah.
voted off,
Oh,
she
God,
goes,
yeah.
"So that's real. It wasn't, I
Yeah.
was like, I would have done. I would have
I'm
done
mostly
too."
mad at myself for how I got voted off,
Right.
because it was 100% my fault. I
Did you
trusted
know?
someone,
Did
which
you
I
have the
shouldn't have done, and it
feeling?
was
Did
my
you have
fault.
that feeling that night you were going to get voted off?
I did, but I wanted to believe that it was
Right.
It wasn't factual. I mean, we had a plan. Like the alliance that I was in, we did have like a discussion about who was gonna go home, and I kind of usually felt really good about it. And this time, I was just like, I was so, I kicked myself so much about this. I was tired. I was, reaching my limit of energy and of conversations, and I just like didn't have it in me to talk more.
Yeah.
And I should have talked more on that day. I remember just thinking, I need to go talk more. I need to make sure and solidify this and talk to this person. And I just like didn't. And I play that over and over in my head so much.
Does that cause relationship issues at home? You can't trust people,
For a little bit.
yeah.
it did.
I would imagine it would.
honestly
It
did.
carries over.
Yeah, the whole thing. So I was voted out on night 36, and then the whole show is over on night 39, and we're all on a plane to go home on day 40. So when I got there on night 36, I ate really good meal and went to bed and slept for like a very long time.
Yeah.
And then pretty much didn't stop eating the whole time. But then it was like the adrenaline hit me, and we were hanging out with each other, and it was just so fun. I don't even think I slept the next 2 nights, 37, 38. And it was just all like this whirlwind. You just felt like this high of adrenaline that you're coming off from this thing, and you have food again, and it's all going to be over. I'm going to be home soon. And then when I got home, I remember landing on the plane, and they finally handed us our cell phones back. And everyone kind of quickly went onto their phone. And this one, my guy Devin, who's on the show with me, we were both like, ooh, you didn't want to like, it
What's
was
gonna
like,
happen?
you almost didn't want it to come back, because as soon as you turn that phone on, like you're back to
you're
reality.
back to reality.
Officially, it's over. You're back. So I actually kept mine off for another like 3 hours until I think
Wow.
I had to get an Uber to my hotel room or something. But I wasn't ready. It was a lot. And I'm an emotional person, so I felt it a lot all, and it was like heavy to come back. It was a heavy transition.
I can imagine. Who was the
Yeah.
first person you called? Was it your mom?
I don't think I called anyone. I think
Oh,
I just
okay.
I had to.
Uber was her first call.
Yeah, right. Some guy
Take
named
me
Jake.
home.
From State Farm.
But I don't quite remember. I know everyone met me at the airport, so I had to have called someone. But it was just like, I don't know if I was ready, because then it's culture shock. As
Yeah, I
honestly
can
it was.
imagine.
Hearing music was really weird. I remember the day after we were in Fiji, the day after I was voted off, they took us to a small little village if you wanted to do any shopping or things to keep you occupied. And I remember there was really loud. There was like school children playing right here. There's all the shops and music and hustle and bustle going on. And I had to like walk out of the store I was trying to buy little things in and like go sit on a curb. And I was just like, oh my God, what is going on? This is so much stimulation.
Yeah.
There's music and it is people.
Anxiety starts
how do
getting-
you buy things? I mean, it was only 36 days, but it's just so removed that it just feels bizarre. And
you see those things on Facebook, right? Like for $1 million, could you live in this hut and have no internet, no TV? And I dream about that
laugh at
because
that.
these days I'm like, we're connected to our phones. I go on vacation and I'm guilty of it. I bring my laptop. And if there's a second we're not doing something, I start working, which is bad. And I need to be able to disconnect. So something like that. Again, these are obviously extreme circumstances with the game. But I would imagine at least for the first few days, I would love just like my phones. I'm not easily accessed. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I love that part. That's why I didn't want to turn my phone on right away and then I try to remind myself. I was also with coming back came actually a little bit of like guilt, I think too. And like I said, I feel things kind of hard, and I really like wanted to process all this guilt of like we're starving ourselves for this game, and it's really hard, and I'm crying, and I'm like in pain, and a little bit of guilt was like people are really hungry, in places there are people starving, and it's not
deep.
for fun, and they're not gonna have a reward challenge in 2 days where they're gonna get to win a cheeseburger, So like I came back and really processed through a lot of that, and was like seeing all the restaurants in the airport. I was like, oh my God, we're so fortunate. Like there's just
Blessed.
food on every single, like everyone's got food in their hand. No one's hungry here. And it was just like really a lot. I thought about that a lot. And then I laid on my mom's couch for like 3 weeks and had her feed me cookies and brownies, pancakes every morning.
I figured-
There's no
figured
reason
all
not
of
to
that.
participate in it. I mean, it's like,
Come home
was
and Mama's
tough.
going to take care of you.
That's all I
Oh, yeah.
wanted. It's so
Yeah.
funny. I lived on my own, but I craved being in my mom's bed. I was
Yeah.
26 years old, but I just like, and wanted my nieces and nephews with me. And I just like
And
couldn't
brownies, you
wait to
said,
get
right?
into my mom's big comfy bed and have her feed me.
Now,
Not
when
like
you
literally,
when
but,
you
make me.
like, wait a second.
so Ashley, when you go there, you can't bring anything with you. I mean, can you bring
Right.
clothing or anything? Or
They pick your clothes. Actually.
Okay.
Yeah, they have you send a bunch of different wardrobe options, but they kind of put you in what they want you to look like. Kind
Okay.
of.
Really?
I was the lifeguard surfer, so they have me in like cutoff jean shorts and a tank top.
well, of course.
But so people always wonder why like people are wearing like a full suit or something. Like that's silly. That's not practical.
Right.
It's 'cause
Yeah.
they kind of want you to look your part.
Oh, that's
Wow.
interesting.
bit.
No, and then again, no toothpaste.
No.
No.
Oh, man.
No, nothing.
Social distancing, please.
Wow,
Yeah. Did you,
that's really tough.
yeah, and it's kind of cool because none of us smelt bad to each other.
That was
I'm sure to
that
someone
was the
else
next
we-
question that I wanted
To
to
each
ask,
other.
but I wasn't sure.
each other. But at
Let's
the same
ask.
time, I wondered if the lack of food and toxins that we're
Yeah.
all putting in our bodies all the time here had something to do with that. You kind of like,
Your senses and stuff?
well, like your pH levels. I don't know how it works
Oh,
necessarily.
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
that's-
yeah,
that's-
yeah.
But
They're
you're
like-
like,
You're
you
right.
know, your odor.
Yeah. No, that's a
it-
good point. I never really thought about that.
If you
but-
kind of like level out a little bit.
But
and-
you're in the water enough, right? Where you kind of
yeah, we
bathe
did like
a little
sand
bit.
scrubs.
Yeah.
You know, we'd have like spa days.
Oh, there you go.
Spas.
Little bamboo on the teeth.
We really
That's
are
actually
blessed
how
when
we
you think
brush
about it,
our
aren't we?
Oh, very, very, very.
Wow.
So when you came back, you get back home. How long was it between you landed at home and then the show was on TV?
That was, I think, another 3 months.
How hard was that? Not to
It was
tell
weird
'Cause
because
you
it was like
people-
over, but it wasn't over.
Right,
You know,
yeah,
my
like-
experience was over, but I knew it was.
I mean,
gonna
3
be a
months
whole-
is actually not bad. I know people that have been on that had to wait almost a year before their show.
Yeah,
you
it was
know.
just 3 months.
You have to sign NDAs, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really not good at
No,
not
'cause
disclosing
At
things.
Christmas time, I'm like open your gift right there, open it. It's like, stop it, you have 3 more days.
Yeah, but you know, I didn't talk about what I really wasn't supposed to talk about, but like a lot of people knew that I was on the show.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was kind of hard to me. My work, people at my work had to know.
Yeah.
So that was weird. I mean, I was called Survivor for a good year, like as a name.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
But yeah, earned me a lot of street cred at the beach.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
But it was really weird anticipating it being Eric. So I'm like, no one even has any idea. And I didn't want to talk about it in detail because it was like, how do you even explain? Like, it's just such a foreign experience that you can like relate to someone else. You know, and in that time, I think it was actually really important that we did talk to each other a lot more. Just about life and how are you guys adapting to this, or have you gotten this peanut butter from Trader Joe's? It's really good. Because we would talk about food so much, we would text each other meals or pictures of our meals so often. And
Well, it's nice to have people that had a similar experience though, so that you can, you know.
Yeah, they really say like there's like a survivor family. I know there's like a Facebook group and some meetups that we have every once in a while.
I was just going to ask if you meet up with anybody or,
yeah.
you know, close to anybody special.
Yeah, I mean, we talk every once in a while. It's like time goes by and you kind of
that's
go
cool.
longer and longer. But there's a couple of really good fundraisers that are put on every year.
Awesome.
One in particular is Hearts for Reality. And that benefits this place called Give Kids the World
That's
Village.
right.
And did you
Yes.
go to that
I did. So
one year?
in fact, Hearts of Reality is the reason I hosted auditions for those shows. So Mike Nunez, who was he's the founder of Hearts of Reality, was my son's t-ball coach, 9 years ago or something like that. And he does an event every year where he brings in reality TV stars to raise money for Give Kids the World, which is an organization in Orlando. It's the housing facility for Make-A-Wish. So when somebody wants to come to the area and go to Disney for a week or whatever, they stay at Give Kids the World. It's like Candyland came to life. So every year in August, they bring in these reality stars, and I knew him, and that's how I got to know people at CBS because of that event. And I said, look, we need to do something. What more can we do? He's like, well, you're on the coast. We could really use some Florida people because Florida's a really good market for Survivor. Watching the show, it's a good market. So they're like, well, if you want to host auditions, there's an expense to do that. But then I came back. I'm like, look, this is going to benefit the charity. Hopefully, this can work out. So we did the auditions. And then luckily we had 3 people that made the show.
Wow.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
you were
huge.
the first one
That's
to actually
great.
make it. And so they called me and said, hey, somebody made the show. You're not allowed to say anything either. And then I'm like, all right, so I'm going through all these pictures and I'm like, who made it? Because they wouldn't say anything until CBS officially announced the cast. So
Wow.
yeah, it was really exciting to know that, we had done this event, did this work and then something actually came out of it.
I didn't know exactly how directly.
Yeah. So Hearts of
related
Reality is
you're, like,
it's
action
a
about
big
it.
thing to me.
I
It's
have
a-
Pete to thank.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
You're
yeah.
like the main reason any of us got on there.
You brought it there.
Area.
That's
That's
awesome.
so
Yeah,
cool.
we did, and CBS was a great relationship with us, and
He probably would have reminded you that if you won the million. I have a feeling. Hey.
Well, he came to some watch parties, but you didn't
did.
know yet, did
No,
you?
I had no idea.
Oh,
No,
so that's
I
why
didn't.
he was.
Yeah,
That's
no, I
awesome,
didn't.
though.
No, him and his daughter Emma actually came to a couple, and
did.
you guys came on the night I was voted out.
She gave you that bracelet.
And she gave me
made
a
her
bracelet. I have a picture with her right when she gave me that bracelet that she made me,
Yeah.
and you could tell I'm all puffy because I was crying from watching the episode play
Yeah.
out, and I still have that bracelet in
Oh,
my
that's
little
awesome.
Survivor
That's awesome.
memorabilia stuff.
very
Yeah,
cool.
She was very
Very
sweet.
cool.
She
So
made me
let's
smile.
talk about when you came back and you got back into the normal real world, and then so you settled in, and now you own a surf school and you teach surfing.
Yes,
So can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing now?
So I own and run Ohana Surf School. It's in Cocoa Beach, and we teach surf lessons to everyone, all ages. But our main business is surf camps for kids, summer camps, spring break, things like that.
That's
And
awesome.
It's so much fun. It's
So
so much fun.
visitors can come here, stay at Beachside Hotel and Suites, and then if they got kids that
Absolutely.
they want to learn, how to surf, they come to you.
Yeah.
How long does something like that take where you can get them up on the board, you think?
I have to say at least 90% of people that take their first lesson are standing up, especially
Wow.
kids.
Yeah.
Especially kids.
because they're not
Adults-
afraid.
Yeah, they're not
Yeah,
afraid.
they're not
You
afraid.
put them on a nice big board, and they get it almost in that first hour. They're almost always standing up.
Wow.
And then so our camps, so the summer camps that we do, are a week long.
Cool.
And so their skills grow, a lot in that week, and it's really fun. So we actually do it's like a surf and art camp as well. You can do just the surfing portion, but we also offer. Afterwards, we go into our classroom and we do like arts and crafts, tie-dye. We'll have like guest speakers come in from like Keeper Bar Beautiful, or
great
I've had some of
organization.
my lifeguard, the lifeguard chief will come in and talk about ocean safety with them. We'll do yoga once a week, like kids yoga, and
Great.
other kind of like surf fitness training. And it's really fun. It's very diverse, and there's just like something for every kid. Some kid might not love the surfing, but they get to paint or create things after. So it's like just a fun summer
Are you
camp.
still a lifeguard too?
I'm not.
I was going to say, how do you do all this?
I'm not. I still technically am, but no, I'm not working for the county anymore.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, again, there's only so many hours in the day, so I get it.
Yeah, that was a lot. It was a super fun. I think I worked with them for like 6 years. I was a captain for 4 of those years.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was really fun. It's a really fun job. The whole Brevard County actually covers more coastline. Brevard County Ocean Rescue covers more coastline than any other county in the country.
72 miles of beach
Yeah.
over here.
That's
Yeah,
great.
we
So,
talk
and it's
about that a
all-
lot, about
Yes,
how,
we
how
do.
big the county is and how long the county is. But
Yep.
yeah, thinking about the lifeguard side,
Yeah.
we really hadn't considered, that
Well-
it's safe because there's lifeguards at those stands.
And speaking of lifeguards, did I read that you were in Baywatch?
I was.
So
outta here.
tell us about that experience.
How's
That-
Pamela? Is she-
I was actually her body double, if you didn't.
Get out of here.
Oh,
No.
I was Fat Albert's body double.
Yeah, so that was actually
funny.
so fun. There's a Facebook page at the East Coast Lifeguard Association where all of the employed guards from along the coast are in this group, and somebody had a connection through Baywatch. I guess somebody from Baywatch reached out as a the type of person that is there to make sure everything's like realistic for the lifeguard aspect of it. So they were looking for people to do the scene where the tryout scene, if you guys have seen it, the new Baywatch.
Yeah.
Not the old
With The Rock.
show, but the new one.
With The Rock.
The Rock.
He's in the new one?
He's
So
David
a bunch of
Hasselhoff.
us,
Yeah.
so a bunch of us drove up and were part of making that movie. It was really fun.
where'd you have to do that? Was that down in
It
Miami?
was in Tybee Island, Georgia, actually. On a
Oh.
freezing cold, like January day. It was the coldest day of the year, and they had us doing these surf sprints and swims over and over and over again. There was actually a bunch of people that had to be taken out because they were like
Wow.
borderline hypothermic.
Wow.
And I'll never forget The Rock was like on a jet ski as we were swimming around him, like swimming
So
circles
I
around him,
was going
basically.
to say, so you actually did get to see him.
A little
and-
bit of interaction, yeah.
Okay.
And he's like, he said something. He's like, "You guys are doing great. You're all way tougher than Zac Efron." Zach's on his other skis or something, whatever.
So you got a good acting career going here.
I'd say that was about it.
That's it. You're not gonna. You don't
Survivor,
think
you
you could
got
do
that
any
going?
more?
Yeah, what the heck?
I would love
Bonnie
to,
is the
but-
former,
Film commissioner, yes.
of the state of
Saying.
Florida.
Yep.
So
You never know.
Yeah, there was about a 3-second shot of my face. So that's about all that worked.
But they did zoom in right
It was
on
very
you.
close.
mean,
I
it was-
looked so determined. It's awesome.
You know
With
that
my
show-
swim cap on too. So it's
That
really
show they
fun.
had on Laguna Beach. They should have one of those for Cocoa Beach, and I think you're the person to make it happen. We've got the star right here that could be on it, and then a bunch of goofy people like us. We'll make it work, right?
Well, there's a TV show that's on now. It's North Carolina. I'm trying to remember. Outer Banks, and it's about surfing. I don't know if you've seen it, but they called me and said, you've got better surfing than they do here in the Outer Banks. So they came and filmed some scenes here in Cocoa
that's
Beach.
awesome.
Yes,
Really?
and so they think you're in the Outer Banks, but they
Yeah.
were really in Cocoa Beach, Florida.
We'll make
So-
sure that Bonnie has your phone number.
I was just
Yeah.
gonna say.
Yeah, so you just never know. So let's see that now. I also heard that you are very involved too with kiteboarding. Your boyfriend apparently owns the kiteboarding. Why do I say Kate?
Skateboarding. I've never
Where's
heard of
the
skateboarding.
Kate coming in?
Kiteboarding.
Yes.
That looks awesome to do, too.
Yeah, if you've ever come over 520, I'm sure
Love
a lot
that
of listeners,
scene. Yep.
you guys obviously have driven over that bridge and seen all the kites in the air. So
Mm-hmm.
that's my boyfriend specifically runs Good Breeze kiteboarding, and they do lessons there. And he also has a shop right here by the hotel, actually. Right. But that is so much fun. It's awesome. It's nice because surfing in the summer when it's nice and warm and there's no
Yeah.
wind. But then, in the off season, it gets a little bit windier. It's super fun. And I know we were just talking. Everyone thinks, a lot of times people think it's like you don't have the strength for it. But I'm telling you, it is not a strength sport. Like you don't need to be very strong. It's
Wow.
you're in a harness. The wind does most of the work. It's really just kind of like learning to fly the
Balance,
kite. Like,
Directions.
yeah, just learning the wind. That was like the biggest thing for me. But it's super.
Well, it
fun.
looks very cool coming over that bridge
know.
and seeing it. I think it's one of the great scenic routes that I love to look at.
Yeah.
So
She also, this
I could be the only
foil
one
thing.
on the water for that. I might
Right.
run into somebody.
yeah.
Yeah, all by myself.
But when they teach lessons, it's nice because they have the jet skis, so they can take you far away from other people
Right.
and come get you when you.
I'm
you
done.
are beelining the wrong direction. They'll come and get you, and you're all really safe.
Oh, cool.
That's cool. I've also seen some videos, on your social media where you're doing this foil thing. So can you explain that? Because that looks like the coolest thing I've ever seen.
It is the coolest feeling ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like surfing, but hydrofoiling is what you're talking
Okay.
about.
Yep.
And been blowing up in the last couple of years. So you're basically on a surfboard, but you have a mast underneath and a wing that acts kind of like a airplane wing, I guess.
Yeah, and then
it
you
just kinda
fly
keeps you
up.
lifted off the off the water.
Yeah,
Wow.
I've seen that.
So you can catch. A lot of times we'll tow in, like with maybe a jet ski or like an electric hydrofoil, which is another thing that's really cool. It's got like a remote and a battery, so it kind of self-propels.
Nice.
And so, yeah, my boyfriend and I actually spent a long time figuring out how to attach a leash to that one, and then we could pull each other on the hydrofoil behind it into waves. Which is
wow.
like so. Yeah, it was the funniest thing trying to figure out how to work that. It was really goofy.
Yeah, cool though.
But then we got it down, so you can basically ride one of those on a wave that's not broken. So on a surfboard, you need it to be like a breaking wave to have enough energy to be pushing you. On a foil, it doesn't take much energy at all, so you're just up, and you can ride a wave that's just a rolling swell for like,
That'd be a
5
cool
minutes
feeling.
if you're really good at
Yeah.
it.
So you can be on there for like 5 minutes. I was wondering
Easily,
like how
yeah.
long that
on a
that
long,
lasts.
Yeah, on a long wave. Yeah.
Wow.
We've got a lot of good spots here on the coast too to do it. It's really Cocoa Beach has like really good foil waves.
So if somebody
Nice.
wants to get involved with Ohana Surf School, what's your website?
Mine is surfwithohana.com.
Okay.
And we're on Instagram and Facebook under those names, I believe. And we have a great photographer, David Pritzer from Raw Surf. I will shout out for him because he is a great surf photographer, as well as he takes pictures of all kinds of things, but he is our photographer that takes really awesome pictures every day of all the kids.
Oh, that's
and
great.
then we're able to like have those packages of photos for the camp kids at the end of the week, and his images are like really, really cool. So
Very good.
So in my
they're all on our
kitchen,
Instagram is where I was going.
we have a sign. I think it says Ohana means family. I think. Is that what it means?
yeah.
All right.
I have
Look
that
at me.
same sign.
Yeah, it's good.
Most people think of it from Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah.
Remember when they say Ohana means
Yeah.
family, family means no one is left behind.
And it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
You have that sign in your kitchen?
Yeah, well, I was telling before the podcast started that the Ohana breakfast was something at Disney that my wife absolutely loved. We went and did a trip at Polynesian and a whole thing, anniversary thing. And I think after that, and we saw the sign, it just kind of clicked. So yes, I have that in my kitchen.
Nice.
Up top. Ohana means family. It's just, I don't know. It's a great, beautiful sentiment. So
Well, and now you can think of Ashley.
that's right.
You know,
Family
why not?
Family surfing, so everyone, including you.
Right,
I need to start
exactly.
surfing. That's it.
Exactly. Yeah, I actually started as Ashley Nolan Surf School, which is
That's
when
right.
Emma,
Yep.
when his daughter came to
Yep.
my surf school. It started very, very small down in like in the Atlantic area.
Yeah.
And then I needed a spot up in Cocoa Beach because the waves are so much better here for beginning surfing. They're small. Well, sometimes they can be small
Right.
during the summer. Nice and mellow, long beaches. So it's like a long, mellow break for beginner surfers. So I had to find somewhere up here. It's just the best area possible.
Yeah.
So eventually I did, and I found another surf school that was actually going to be closing down. That was called Ohana Surf School. So I ended up just, buying that already
Nice.
from them, and that grew my business a lot. And they
Great
had a really
job.
successful customer base already, and they had families that were like really sad to hear that they were going to be shutting down. So to be able to like keep that going was awesome, because there's kids that have been coming for like 8 years, I think, to
Wow.
Ohana Surf School. Yeah, every
great.
summer.
Well,
So
You are a
it's-
hero, right? And then what they did on Survivor, they selected you because you're a hero. So look at you.
Yeah, something like that.
That's it.
So
You're saving
Brevard
the
County is known for as one of the surf capitals, in the country. There's a lot of, obviously Kelly Slater's a big one, but there's a lot of big name surfers that have come from this area. You've surfed all over the world now, as I've seen.
Getting there.
So what makes Cocoa Beach and the Space Coast so good? Like, why is this area so special when it comes to surfing?
I think a lot of it has to do with just the general vibe here. I mean, the weather
Yes.
helps a lot. Kelly Slater did a lot for us, that's
course,
for
of course.
sure.
That's true.
But we have pretty consistent waves. I mean, a lot of times when I go traveling and surfing other places, people hear you're from Florida, and you're like, oh, like the small wave capital of the world.
Well, right.
But I think that's what makes it fun, and that's what makes it accessible for so many people here.
Right.
It's not something that's scary necessarily. Other places, if you're going to be a surfer in Hawaii, some places, like, you have to really be a surfer, and
Right.
so it's a smaller group of people that
Gobble
are
you
really
up.
dedicated to it. Here, I mean, anyone, literally from your 3-year-old kids, you can take out there surfing, pushing them on little whitewater, teeny little roller waves in the inside, to your older guys, retired, men and women that can just be on their longboards and wait out there for a long time in you're warm, You know, it's gorgeous waves. You just get to sit and wait for a nice little fun wave.
And not only that,
go, Pete.
we also have dog surfing. We
And
also have dog surfing.
surfing.
Yes.
Do they have cat surfing?
So
That could be
think-
fun.
I mean,
think
I
because
lo-
of that, you know,
it's-
everyone can do it. And
I
it's just
know.
a beautiful
Yeah.
place
Yeah.
to surf, and we do have good waves here and there.
Yeah,
we
we
have
do.
Easter dog surfing coming up.
We do.
yeah.
That's true. We have the dog surfing contest coming up over the Easter holidays.
So how's that work? There's a person on the board with it. It's like a not.
No, the dog is by
No,
himself.
no.
Get out of here.
You have not seen it? Oh,
Not that I remember, but I could
it's
have.
they are
could you
these
forget?
dogs love
How
it.
did-
It's wonderful. They put them on a board and the
just
owner
say
takes them
shush?
out there and puts them out and the dog does his thing.
That could
Some
be
of
your
them
next
even
dog.
do little they do little hang
awesome.
tens, some of them do. And
Are you
some-
serious?
I am serious. You got
Okay,
to
now
watch
I
it.
gotta
It's
watch
great.
this.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. So listen, Ashley, what do you do on your time off on the Space Coast? What do you like about the area that you can do when you are not busy doing all the other stuff that you do?
Well, I guess, my work is kind of my play.
I was
that's
gonna
kinda
say,
nice.
it
That's
sounds
kinda
like
why I
it.
started the surf school because obviously I surf as much as I can, travel as much as I can. The good thing about the surf school, it is quite seasonal. There's certain times of year where we don't get as busy, so I get to go and do some traveling of my own and find some other spots to surf. Kiteboarding, like I said, is a big one. Kiting, foiling, all the water activities, really.
Yep.
Yeah.
We do a lot of camping. There's a lot of good camping along this coast, and we'll go and find springs often and do like diving and things.
Sure.
But we go, a lot of weekends of the year we'll go down to Sebastian Inlet and camp right there, which is
Yeah,
really nice
that's
'cause
nice.
you're still close to the inlet. for
Sebastian's a
surfing.
pretty area.
Yeah, it is. Jetty Park also has good camping there
Yep.
too.
They do.
So,
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
yeah.
So are you from Florida? Like
I
you
am.
grew up here and everything?
Yep,
Okay.
yeah.
Were you born? Where were you born?
Holmes Regional.
Oh, okay, right here.
Wow.
Okay, right
In
there in the
Melbourne,
Melbourne
yeah.
area.
Very
yeah,
local.
It's very good. Well, we want to thank you for coming out and sharing the experience. And, I know a lot of people are going to be interested, especially when we start promoting the fact that we have you on. I know that I did get a note. I'm going to remember this. Somebody from Bend, Oregon. Her name was Twyla. She wanted to know from you. I think we answered most of her questions, but one of the questions was like, did you have an inspiration did somebody inspire you or whatever? That was her question. I think when you were on the show, was there an inspiration?
Pocahontas, right?
Yeah.
What?
Pocahontas was your inspiration.
Yeah.
I'm glad I
She was
remembered
great.
that.
Speaking of Bend, Oregon, I just went there last year, and that's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
By the way,
Really?
it's great for kiteboarding. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
we did
Cool.
mountain
Yeah.
biking there. Yeah, so shout out to Bend, Oregon.
How about that? Okay.
I really think that my dad was a big inspiration. I
That's
don't know
awesome.
if that's
Yeah.
we have a really great relationship, and just that show had been on for so long. And I actually specifically remember being a kid, and right when it started airing is right actually when my parents were like divorced, and so the time I would spend with my dad watching Survivor was like, it just meant a lot.
Bonding.
That's
It's
nice.
that one thing we just really had in common that we watched, religiously, and then of course him bugging me for the next 20 years that you need to apply, you need to be on the show, you need to be on the show.
That's so
and you're
cool,
gonna win
though,
this
man.
challenge, and you're gonna do so good, and wouldn't it be so cool if I came out and like got to see you on Loved Ones Day? Because sometimes at some point in the show they bring out like one loved one from home,
Oh,
and so that was a lot of my motivation the whole time, is like just get to that point
Yeah.
to get him out here, and so that was probably the most emotional episode.
Wow.
And I think in that same episode I did win one of the immunity challenges, and then got to see my dad. So it was just this whole like really emotional time, and seeing him in Fiji was just like
Kudos to
mind-blowing.
him,
I
because
couldn't-
Really?
Yeah.
That's
a lot of
great.
parents
Beautiful.
don't push you to do those things that seem like it's impossible. Like a very small percentage of people make it. So don't even.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's like, no, do it, and
Yeah.
look at, he was right. Do
Yeah.
it. Why not? Follow your dreams, right?
Yeah, I was like afraid to tell him I didn't win though. When I got back, I was a little
He's so proud of you.
Oh, he's-
Listen,
yeah.
he was proud. I guarantee you, as a father, he was
for
proud of
sure.
just trying out.
I know,
He was
yeah.
just glowing from that, and then it just
He couldn't
snowballed.
believe-
So
When I got the call from Survivor telling me like it was official, I was going. I remember driving. I was at like the mall or something, and I drove so fast to my dad's. It wasn't even. I couldn't make it a phone call because it was
Of
too
course.
good. So I drove so fast to his house and told him, and we both just like laughed hysterically for like
Oh,
30
wow.
minutes, just like crying,
getting
laughing,
chills,
just
man.
like
I know,
you're
that's
not.
so awesome.
Like it just wasn't real. We're like, are you kidding? Like, are you sure? I'm like,
Yeah.
yes.
that's a great
no
story.
takebacks.
So
No takebacks.
Weird
Great
just to
story.
think like.
Did you have a
that
lot of
was gonna
time
be
in
me.
between that? Like, so I'm definitely going to be on now, like, do you have time to prepare?
I only had like 3 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Really
they
not a
gave me
lot.
a good 9 months of nothing to hurry up and to get me on there. Yeah, it was really quick. And they're like, we
okay.
need you in LA in 2 weeks. And then if you're on, it's another like month maybe. I think so. It wasn't a lot of
Okay,
time.
I didn't know
at
if they
all.
give you time to eat up, to try to like
No.
gain some weight. So before
I
you
was torn too. I'm like, do I want to gain a lot of weight to like
Right.
have more to lose, or do I want to like wean myself off of food
Oh,
or something?
yeah,
So I'm like
right.
used to less calories, and then it was all out the window. I just ate everything in sight before and after. Like,
Were you
like, I
worried
eat.
about how I'm going to look on TV?
You know, it's funny. I mean, a little bit, but I mean, everyone is a little bit, right?
Right.
But so on our way, before we go start the show, we're like in Fiji, and they have us there for like a couple days to just acclimate, I guess, or just to like get everything in order. But we're not allowed to talk to each other. But we're in the same room with each other, like eating meals and just hanging out. But we're not allowed to talk or
Wow.
make eye contact or anything. And so
That's
and then
weird.
they interview us on our first, our first impressions of each other too, which is like.
You're like,
Just
well,
from
they
judging them
wouldn't
from
talk to
across
me,
the-
so
They're snobs. They
Yeah.
wouldn't even look at me.
Yeah. But so that was really weird. But so they just kept feeding us. Like production would come around and be like, you should really eat more. Like I would eat more, like, because
Yeah.
they're like, I'm good. They're like, seriously, you're going to need to eat. So every morning of that, I was eating like a 5 stack of pancakes and like peanut butter on it. Like just because it was like all you can eat the whole time.
Right.
And then one day I'm like, okay, I'm about to be on TV. I should stop eating pancakes every morning for breakfast. I don't know when this thing's going to finally start.
All right.
So this one particular morning, I'm like, I'm just going to have a salad, like a light salad for breakfast. And then like an hour later, they're like, okay, go get your clothes on. It's time to go. We're doing it.
No, give them the pancakes.
So the whole time on the island, I was like thinking about that
I coulda had
stupid
one more.
salad, and I was thinking about those pancakes, and I was like, oh my god, I'm never having salad for breakfast again. And I came back and I had pancakes for breakfast at least 3 weeks in a row, like every day in a row, because it's like I
Yeah,
crave
and you
pancakes
said
so much.
peanut butter pancakes, right? Like,
Yeah, that's not what you do.
no,
Pancakes?
well, listen,
Oh,
listen.
if
I
you're
was,
gonna have pancakes,
I
might as
was
well
born
put-
and raised in peanut butter and jelly, so I'm a
Yeah.
peanut butter guy. But I never heard of that. But yeah, man, that sounds fantastic.
I was very calorie deficient.
Yeah.
do you go creamy or
Didn't last
crunchy?
for
The
long.
world wants to know.
Creamy.
Crunchy.
Oh.
I can
No,
go.
I'm
I
creamy.
like
Team
I like
creamy.
I
that's
creamy,
it.
yeah.
I'm organic.
You guys are
It
wrong.
has to be organic. It does have to be organic, in my opinion.
We need our tiebreaker. Maybe next week we'll.
That's so funny.
Awesome. Wow.
I do want to throw one more thing in. You're
Sure.
talking about just things that I do and spend time doing, and things that maybe other people would like to hear about to get involved.
For sure.
Once I started the surf school, I was reached out to about the Special Olympics of Brevard.
Awesome.
Awesome.
And they have a surf team that I became the head coach of, and that was so much fun and so rewarding. And I really we always need volunteers and spectators. Even if you're volunteering means you just come out and watch and cheer these athletes on. It's really, really fun. Our season usually starts in around June. Last year, we unfortunately didn't have a season just because of COVID and
Yeah.
and things, which was, I know for these athletes is a big deal. They
course.
like their sport, they like their routine, and for them to miss out on things like means a lot more than
Sure.
it means
Right.
something to all of us to miss out on things or not get to go to school and not have your regular routine. But for these athletes, like that's a big deal.
Of course.
You know,
but-
we host them for the surfing championship. We're the host hotel.
Oh,
for
that's
the,
right, yes.
And I reached out to them this week to find out what's going on. They're going to begin practice. I don't know if
Yes.
they're going to do any lodging, but they've started practice, which is really, really
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
That's
we're really
awesome.
looking forward to having a season this year
Yes.
again and getting them back out in the water. So that's something that if anyone is interested in, there's tons of other sports too. If surfing's not your thing, but there's so many other sports, and it's just an awesome.
I love that you
organization.
do that. That's a
great.
great cause.
It is.
Awesome.
Really, really
Good for you.
fun.
Yep.
All right, well,
Definitely, thank you for all you do for our community. And I know from a fact you have a huge heart. So thank you for all you do, because that really is special, to help these people out, when they need it the most. And
Thank you, guys.
people need to get out. So thank you for joining us today on the show and talking about the show and talking about your surf school, which again, guys, Ohana Surf School. Check it out. I can vouch for it. My daughter went there. She had the time of her life. She still has a picture. She had her little, back then you had the red shirt, and she had a black bathing suit bottom on, and you guys were like running to the beach, and like that picture is like,
Oh, of me and her.
yeah,
Right? I know
it's
the
like
picture.
it's like she's growing up so much. That was like my first moment. And as John said, when we have daughters too, and we can only hope that they grow up to do good things like your dad.
Awesome.
So we
will.
appreciate
We
you.
have good dads. That's
Thank you.
important.
Thank
That's
you.
very, very nice. Well, let's talk about next week, because next week we are going to be on location at the Kennedy Space Center.
Yes.
Yeah.
They have that new attraction called Planet Play. It's a multi-story experience for kids between the ages of 2 and 12, and probably for adults that like to act like they're 2 and 12.
Right here.
But it's interesting because this is where kids can actually play on a planet. They can climb a wormhole. They can walk on Saturn's rings, and they can slide through an asteroid field. I think that sounds pretty exciting.
I went out to the media preview for that, and
Yeah.
it truly is incredible.
Did
know,
you
like-
slide down the asteroid?
Yes, I did slide down the asteroid. Big kids can do that, and
That's
it's a
cool.
slide, but it's digital. So when you go down the slide, it's like you're a rocket ship, and it's really cool. Not
Do you
just
go
to
really
watch.
fast?
Well, it's a slide. So,
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay.
So yeah, I greased up, and I
That's right. Heck yeah, I did.
I went through.
think they keep you under 30 miles an hour or something. But
But
no,
it's-
it's really cool. It's a digital slide, so it's cool.
Very
Plus
cool.
the climbing, the kids, they have a bar there for the adults when they're hanging out, so the kids can go, and it's air conditioning. So in the summertime, if it's hot over there, you can go hang out and get a little break. But yeah, I look forward to being out there next week.
I do too.
and
I
learning
think that's
more.
going to be a lot of fun. I mean, Kennedy Space Center keeps adding things, and we keep getting a lot of return visitors, obviously, to the Space Coast. And so to keep things new and interesting, it's always great that they've got something to add. And I'm happy that we're going to be there to be able to share it. So
Absolutely.
We always go to places with a bar. I don't know what's going on.
now.
Good theme there.
Yeah, and you can get your coupon for Kennedy Space Center in the Space Coast Fun Guide. And next week, the brand new edition is coming out, so you can check that out. And
Absolutely.
SpaceCoastFunGuide.com. Absolutely.
SpaceCoastFunGuide.com. Get those coupons. And we thank Michelle because we do have, we love being here at the beachside.
We love having you.
And we
love
thank
being
you very
responsive.
much.
Lots
Yeah.
of fun.
It
Lots
is.
of
Lots of
fun.
fun.
It's great to have this view to start your morning.
Yeah.
Nothing
One
like
day
it.
we'll have to figure out how we can do it on the lazy river.
Oh, no, we don't have to fit. We're doing it.
I don't know about
It needs
that.
to get a little warmer.
You got the wireless, right? And thank you, as always, to the podcast doctor, Mr. Phil, for running our show. Thank you
Absolutely.
very much. And we will see
See
you
you
all
next
next
week.
week.
Next week.
Next week.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, thank you for listening to the 321 Liftoff podcast. I'm Promo Pete, and thank you again, Bonnie King. We had a great episode. Be sure to check us out every week. And if you want more information, visit spacecoastfunguide.com or beldingcommunications.com for everything that we're doing in the area. You can also check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/spacecoastfunguide for all the entertaining things to do in our area. We look forward to seeing you again next week. Until then, take care.